Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at this program called Pathway to Leadership.
Okay.
And we've got a few different sources here. We've got like a little bit of text from like a website or something like that. And then we've also got a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to kind of go through both of those and to figure out what John Gagnon's core principles are all about.
Right.
So hopefully by the end of this deep dive, you'll be a little bit better at leading and also maybe, make a few more bucks using some of his techniques.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I find really interesting about Pathway to Leadership is this slogan that they use.
Okay.
It's learn to become a leader, make more money, and make a difference starting today.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's very aspirational.
Yeah.
But how realistic is that? Can you really just start today and become a leader and make more money? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I guess the best place to start is to go straight to the source and check out Gagnon's YouTube video.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I was actually pleasantly surprised by how engaging the video is. He's got kind of a fun style.
Yeah.
And he talks about problem solving in a way that's very practical.
Right.
One of the first things he talks about is identification and like how important that is.
Okay.
And he actually has this kind of funny anecdote about how he learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Like he dismissed somebody's problem because it seemed small to him.
Oh.
Well, let's just say that he learned a very hard lesson.
Oof. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this anecdote really highlights the importance of empathy and leadership.
Right.
Like even seemingly minor issues can be a really big deal for people who are experiencing them.
Exactly.
And I think that's where active listening comes in.
Yeah.
And validation too.
Yeah.
Really showing people that you understand and that you care. I mean, that's how you build trust as a leader.
Absolutely. And I love that Gagnon doesn't just talk about these concepts in theory. He actually gives some very practical tips.
Okay, like what?
Like, for example, he talks about how he uses his phone to take notes during conversations.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting older. And then he just whips out his phone and starts texting himself notes.
He's like, I got to remember this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's such a good point because, meticulous documentation is so important.
Right.
Especially when you're dealing with a lot of different people and problems.
Yeah. And what I think is really cool about that is that it's not just a tip for leaders.
Sure.
Like anybody can benefit from taking good notes, whether you're working on a personal project or trying to remember what you need from the grocery store.
Right. It's like a superpower for your brain.
Exactly.
So getting back to Gagnon's problem-solving approach, he actually lays out this whole framework in the video.
Okay. I'm interested to hear this.
Yeah. So first you have to identify the problem. Like, is it a real problem or just a complaint?
Interesting distinction.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you figure out the frequency. Like, is it happening all the time or is it just a one-time thing? And then he says you need to interview the people who are most affected by the problem.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because they're the ones who really understand what the ideal outcome should be.
Right.
And then finally you backtrace to figure out the root cause of the problem.
Wow, that's a pretty comprehensive framework.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
I like how he emphasizes understanding the context of the problem before you even start thinking about solutions.
Logically. It's not about jumping to conclusions or slapping on a Band-Aid.
Exactly. And how does this approach compare to the way most people solve problems?
Well, I think a lot of people tend to be more reactive. Something happens and they just try to fix it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, just put out the fire.
Yeah. But Gagnon's approach is much more proactive and strategic.
Yeah, I can see how that would lead to more sustainable solutions.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really interesting is that Gagnon uses this mind-blowing statistic to kind of illustrate his point.
Oh, what's that?
So he says that in 2020, the global population was over 7.7 billion people.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. And his point is that with that many people on the planet, someone somewhere has probably already faced the same problem that you're dealing with and figured out a solution.
That's a really empowering thought.
Right. It's like a confidence booster.
Yeah, it kind of takes the pressure off.
Exactly.
Because, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Right. You can tap into that collective wisdom.
I like that.
And that brings us to another important aspect of Gagnon's approach, which is networking and collaboration.
Right.
He emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with diverse perspectives and expertise.
Makes sense.
Because when you have a team of people with different backgrounds and skill sets,
Yeah.
you're much more likely to come up with creative and effective solutions.
It's like that saying, 2 heads are better than 1.
Exactly. But on a global scale.
Right.
So are you ready for the big reveal?
The greatest secret?
Yes. John Gagnon's greatest secret to problem solving ever.
Hit me with it.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to quickly remind everybody to check out John's Pathway to Leadership channel on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
It's free. It's full of amazing insights. And, who knows, maybe it'll even help you make a little bit more money.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, so back to that secret.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so Gagnon says that the greatest secret to problem solving
Yes.
is that great leaders don't actually have to have all the answers themselves.
Oh, wow.
Instead, they facilitate solutions by assembling the right people.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like a totally different way of thinking about leadership.
It is.
It's not about being the smartest person in the room or always having the perfect solution.
So it's more about like delegation and empowerment.
Exactly. It's about orchestrating talent and creating an environment where people can thrive and contribute their best ideas.
That's a really cool concept.
Yeah, it's pretty revolutionary.
So it's not about micromanaging or trying to control every little detail.
Right. It's about trusting your team and giving them the freedom to excel.
This is making me think about my own leadership style.
Yeah, me too.
Like, where could I delegate more effectively?
That's a great question. And I think it's something that we should all be asking ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because when we delegate effectively, we free up our time and energy to focus on the things that we're truly best at.
Right. And we empower our teams to grow and develop their skills.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
This Gagnon guy sounds like he's really onto something.
He really is. And you know what I love about his approach? Is that it challenges the traditional image of a leader as this lone hero who always has to save the day.
Right. It's not about being a superhero.
Exactly. It's about being a facilitator, a collaborator, and a coach.
It's a much more human and relatable approach to leadership.
I agree. And I think it's something that we can all learn from.
Definitely.
Whether we're leading a team at work or just trying to navigate the challenges of our everyday lives.
That's a great point.
Leadership isn't just about having a fancy title or a position of authority.
Right. It's a mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's something that we can all cultivate within ourselves.
So what's next?
Well, I think it's time to take a closer look at that promotional text for Pathway to Leadership.
Okay, let's do it.
Because they really emphasize the free nature of John's YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. That's a big plus.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he's making all of this valuable information available to anyone with an internet connection.
It's like he's democratizing leadership development.
Exactly.
Mm.
And I think it's a really powerful statement about his commitment to helping people become better leaders.
And, investing time in these free resources could really pay off.
Absolutely.
It can make you a more effective and valuable asset in any field.
Right. And who knows, maybe it'll even lead to a raise or a promotion.
Yeah. Increased earning potential is definitely a nice perk.
It is. But it's important to remember that it's not just about the money.
Of course.
It's about personal and professional growth.
Right.
It's about making a difference in the world.
And feeling fulfilled in your work.
Exactly. And I think John Gagnon's Pathway to Leadership provides a really practical and accessible way to achieve all of those things.
It's like having a personal leadership coach in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to that slogan that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. Learn to become a leader, make more money, and make a difference starting today.
It's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
But I think John Gagnon might actually be onto something.
It might be.
So before we dive into the next part of our deep dive, I just want to take a moment to appreciate John's really engaging style.
Oh, yeah. He's got a real knack for making complex concepts seem simple and relatable.
Right. And he uses humor so effectively.
It makes the learning process more enjoyable.
Exactly. And I think it's a really important reminder that leadership development doesn't have to be dry or intimidating.
It can be fun.
Yeah, it can be fun. And it can be inspiring.
So if you're ready to embark on your own leadership journey,
and maybe boost your career and income along the way,
definitely check out John Gagnon's Pathway to Leadership channel on YouTube.
It's a treasure trove of valuable insights and practical advice.
And it's free.
Can't beat that.
Nope.
So what do you say?
Let's take a deeper look at what we've learned so far.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So what are some of the key takeaways from John Gagnon's approach to leadership and problem solving?
Well, one thing that really stood out to me was
Yeah.
his emphasis on identifying the real problem.
Oh, yeah. Versus just the surface level complaint.
Exactly.
It's so easy to get caught up in the symptoms without really understanding the root cause.
Right. And that's where his back tracing method comes in.
Oh, yeah. It's like detective work for problem solving.
It is. You meticulously retrace the steps and events leading up to the problem.
And you often uncover hidden patterns or contributing factors that you might have missed otherwise.
Exactly. It's brilliant.
It is. And it really reinforces his point about having a systematic approach to problem solving.
Right. It's not about relying on gut feelings or quick fixes.
It's about following a logical process to arrive at a more comprehensive and sustainable solution.
Absolutely. And you know what else is really important?
What's that?
Involving the people who are most affected by the problem.
Oh, yeah. Tapping into their insights and understanding can be invaluable.
Totally. Because they're the ones who really know what's going on.
Right. They have the lived experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you involve them in the problem-solving process, you're much more likely to come up with a solution that actually works for everyone.
It's about shifting from a top-down approach to a more collaborative and inclusive model of leadership.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it really ties back to John's greatest secret to problem-solving,
Which is
recognizing that great leaders don't have to have all the answers.
they surround themselves with talented individuals and create an environment where those individuals can thrive.
Exactly. It's about fostering a culture of collective intelligence and shared responsibility.
And when you do that, you unleash the full potential of your team.
Absolutely. And that leads to better solutions, more innovation, and a greater sense of ownership and engagement from everyone involved.
It's a win-win situation.
Totally. And speaking of wins, let's not forget about the financial benefits that can come with enhanced leadership skills.
Oh, yeah. John's slogan definitely highlights that.
Right? Learn to become a leader, make more money, and make a difference starting today.
While making a difference should be the primary motivator, there's no denying that increased earning potential is often a welcome byproduct of effective leadership.
Totally. When you become a more valuable asset to your organization or your own business, that value often translates into greater financial rewards.
So whether you're looking to climb the corporate ladder, start your own venture, or simply become a more influential and impactful individual in investing in your leadership development is a wise decision.
Absolutely. And John Gagnon's Pathway to Leadership YouTube channel provides a fantastic starting point.
His practical advice, engaging style, and wealth of experience make learning about leadership accessible and, dare I say, even enjoyable.
It's like having a personal mentor guiding you through the intricacies of leadership and problem solving.
And the best part is it's completely free.
So what are you waiting for?
Head over to YouTube, subscribe to John Gagnon's channel, and embark on your own pathway to leadership.
You might be surprised at the transformative impact it can have on your career, your relationships, and your life as a whole.
And remember, leadership isn't reserved for those with fancy titles or positions of authority.
It's a mindset, a skill set, and a way of being that anyone can cultivate.
Start today, and who knows, you might just become the leader you were always meant to be.
Thank you for listening to Pathway to Leadership. We hope this deep dive has given you valuable insights and practical tools to enhance your leadership skills and unlock your full potential. Remember, the journey to effective leadership starts with a single step.
Take that step today and watch as the path unfolds before you.
And we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.